Okay.
What's the meaning of Okukalazu?
It means
Church door close.
No,
let
word.
me answer the question.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that people will talk about you more behind your back.
Yes.
Mm,
And that's the reality.
okay. My Igbo not too fashionable.
Me, I only understand Igbos that they used to drink beer and to chase
There's a
woman
particular phrase
and the chieftaincy titles.
There's a particular phrase that has to do with what we just said. Okwanuka. Azwanuka. Yeah. That is back no they hear news.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes, I mean, gossip.
Back no they hear.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
Uka na gossip or just the same way it is with Uka.
No, not necessarily.
church.
Not necessarily that Uka
Okay.
is gossip.
If we talk,
Yes.
Okay.
small talk.
All right. So for short, I call you who? Ogo, welcome. Welcome to the parlor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's going to get a lot of fans today. I mean, the listeners who are.
We
Looking
hardly
for
have
a
women on the
female-
parlor on radio.
So you have already
And I dare
established
say this
followers.
anywhere in Lagos. So it's a boon to have you here. Gentlemen and lady, it would seem to me, I may be wrong, that the ATM is out of fashion, if you ask me.
Well, because the ATMs are not handy. They are not handy. They are not on the streets. For you to use the ATM, you have to come either to a major road or an avenue or an expressway.
Did I get that right?
Yes. So that is why the POS operators seems to have intercepted the existence or the free usage or access.
Yeah.
So the ATM operators, POS operators are closer to people, and people would rather use them and pay the little charge instead of going to the express or the major road to access the banks, and access the ATMs, where sometimes you have queues, sometimes there are no cash, sometimes it's just 5,000 naira you can get out, and things like that.
So,
Disagree.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to disagree. When the last administration, tried to restrict cash in circulation, I think a lot of people said that you can't do it by fiat, that you have to. It's a fantastic policy. Everybody agreed that it's a fantastic policy, but that it has to be systemic. I think since after that time, somehow a lot of people got used to cashless transactions. I can't even actually remember the last time I did cash transactions. And most times I pay with POS or I do transfer. That's it's also drew a lot of people to the online transactions. Even people who you hitherto would not expect to have POS, including Mereke, and a lot of them actually went opening accounts. So that also further reduced the volume of cash in circulation. So no matter how bad the policy was, it also helped.
So it put simply, can we, in all honesty, say the ATM is still legal in Nigeria?
Yes, it is.
Of course.
All right. Let me ask you, when was the last time the ATM dispensed for you?
For me, yesterday.
No. Liberal.
Like I said, I hardly do cash transaction, but I think about a week or two ago.
You went to the ATM.
Yes, I was traveling. I was actually going to Ijebu. And I needed to, traveling on the highway, you just want to have demand for money.
Yeah.
So I needed at least some level of cash in my pocket.
So
I went
an ATM
yes.
dispensed.
Yeah, one. Actually, I was shocked when I got there and they said I couldn't take more than 2,000. I was like, so I now remember that they probably had not reconfigured it since after that cashless policy.
Yes.
So I went to another one. I was able to get cash.
I think the reason.
And this, the thinking here is crazy because, Ogo, there's nowhere under the sun, under the sun, where you have a cashless policy, not even in America. They still use the dollars and the cents in America, and the pounds and the shillings in England.
They still use ATM a lot.
Yeah.
So, and they still use the ATM too. Oga, when was the last time the ATM welcomed you with cash?
Well, on Friday, I was at Festac. In fact, I went to MTN office at Festac.
2 days ago.
Yes. And then right next to the building, there's a UBA bank, and I'm a customer of UBA. So I was being skeptical. Should I try? Should I not? Because the truth of the matter is this. The POS operators have actually hijacked the whole cashless thing. So each time there's any cash in the ATM machines, they actually go there and withdraw everything. So, but thankfully, I went to the bank and I was able to make withdrawals.
How much did you get?
15,000 naira.
15 at once?
No, of course not. I did
Okay,
10,
10.
and then 5.
Okay, 5.
Lucky
okay.
me.
Okay.
Okay. So, am I to conclude that it's because you were a customer?
Well, I wouldn't know.
It depends on how it's
I
configured.
went to my own bank because, of course, I wouldn't want to mention it. I went to my own bank and it was my bank that actually said I couldn't take more than 2,000.
It depends on how they are configured. I mean,
The machines, indeed.
Sometimes last week I got an SMS from them saying that they have reconfigured their ATMs, but I have not.
sometimes it depends on the branch.
Yes.
Yesterday,
there's no
yesterday
sense
it was
to
the network wahala. You know, but I think it's back now. Let me welcome Murphy Abaddon here.
Abandonment.
No.
I greet you specially, St. Jones.
Yeah.
And Professor Shehu, I greet very, 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 very specially. A very long while.
He said he had been around the world making money.
I've
Yeah.
been around the world
Hustling.
hustling.
He calls it hustling.
And there's a particular bank recently, I think sometimes last week, and that it's been very difficult even doing online transactions with them.
Yes.
They have not been able to guarantee their customers' trust
We know that
they are
bank.
changing from one logo to another.
to another, and then
They are rebranding.
and then the online platform.
Instead of them to wait, now that we're coming out from Bank Wala, instead of them to wait small before they transit to new logo and whatever, they are doing it now again so that we start to have problems.
And that action has really taken away our trust
All right.
from
from that guarantee.
that guarantee.
Now that we are retooling the country, I guess the retooling process should be an all-round thing.
Yes.
We can't afford another round of craziness at the banks and so on. All right then, gentlemen, let me go straight to the first of my two talking points this evening. Court frees Okocha from the EFCC. I hope you got that right. Frees the former governor of Imo State from the EFCC. Now, former Imo State Chief Executive and serving Senator Anayo Rochas Okorocha has had a case brought against him by the EFCC at an FCT court in Abuja quashed. The presiding judge, Yusuf Halilu, promised his judgment premised his judgment, I should say, on the premise that the EFCC had filed a similar matter before a federal high court in 2022, which decision was in favor of the former governor. Sometimes, ladies, gentlemen, you wonder if these cases are designed to go this way.
Yeah, we have agitated on several occasions that the legal department of the EFCC should guide the EFCC chairman, because we've not had, apart from perhaps Rebadu, we've not had the lawyer head the EFCC. You see, in law, there's what they call.
But the law does not say it.
No, the law does not say so. I mean, you have tried somebody before on a particular offense, and later you went to his house, broke into the place with so much vendetta. His families, everybody were on the floor. He was praying that day on the floor too, and all that. After arresting him and prosecuting, you charge him to court, only for the court to discover that the same charge had been a process you brought before, which the court had already litigated upon on his favor. So now you are charging him of the same offense for the court to relitigate the matter. That's an abuse of court process.
Yeah.
In law, there's what they call autrefoil convict and autrefoil acquit. When a person had been tried and either convicted or discharged and acquitted on a particular matter, okay, you cannot bring another action again. It's called double jeopardy in law.
Yeah.
Okorocha can take the EFCC up.
At this point.
Yes. Malicious prosecution. You can bring an action against them for malicious prosecution. Because when a criminal case terminates in favor of a defendant, the defendant have a right to bring an action we call malicious prosecution against the institution or the person who is doing the actions. So what I'm saying is that the legal department ought to have kept record of the first time he was charged on this particular.
You think they didn't keep the record?
So why did they charge him again? Because I feel they have forgotten or they don't know, or because if they have
Evans, sorry,
FCC.
I think what we have here are not procedural errors or mistakes. They are intentional. You see?
Okay.
Yes.
I want to agree with you very strongly on that.
They are intentional.
Do you remember how Maboshi?
Yes.
Recently got a Supreme Court judgment.
Oh, yeah.
And I was asking myself, what exactly is wrong with the EFCC and their prosecutors?
So let me tell you what is wrong.
I'm agreeing with you.
But you see,
although this is your field, though.
I'm listening to the big boys.
You see, what's happening here is when Buhari came, he shouted, corruption is our problem. If we don't kill it, it will kill us. And so all eyes were on EFCC.
Yeah.
And EFCC, wanting to impress, went overboard.
Yeah.
And in going overboard, if you look at starting from Magu, it became a census of how many people have we convicted? How many people will we take?
Statistics.
So it became a chase.
And not how many cases have we won?
No, it became a chase for statistics. And so in chasing that statistics, you discover that EFCC didn't really mind.
Libo, let me quickly welcome Ziggy Ibe. Ziggy, welcome. I greet you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Ziggy Ibe, sir.
You need to properly introduce him now. He was a member of the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC.
And he made money.
And interestingly, Ziggy, we are not discussing.
Why
APC.
is this generating this?
Yeah, because you have not, you didn't pay VAT that you. So like I was explaining, so in chasing these statistics, they went overboard. And also coupled with the fact that Nigerians, once we hear allegation of corruption against one big man, we conclude in the media, we conclude in our little space, it excites us. Yeah. And so in wanting to excite Nigerians that they are working, just nab one big man and grant interviews. You remember the case of Desiani?
And blast chasing.
EFCC actually allowed those allegations of diamond braziers to go, on without rebuttal until the then chairman, came on air to say that it wasn't true.
Yes.
That they were nothing like that. And so you also find out that because the EFCC is the investigator, the prosecutor, and the person that will analyze the file whether to prosecute or not. So you have so much power domicile in the hands of one man. And like we say, absolute power corrupts.
Which man?
The EFCC it's one. I'm looking at them as one man. And so
as a unit,
you now find out that some of the issues we accuse the police of, the EFCC would do it. They even in some cases threaten judges. And quickly, let me round up on this. You find a situation your client is arrested. Ordinarily for financial crimes such as this. Allegations. Issues, people are not, this idea of threatening people with jail, I will lock you up until you bring the money. So depriving people of their freedom, the cell is not supposed to be used for that function. They are kept in custody. In some cases, in the night, they remove them and begin to parade them around town. You must show us or you must bring that money. It became like a money-chasing thing. And then you now get to court. The court will say the evidence is not substantial enough to grant conviction.
Okay.
And Nigerians will forget until the next one.
But look at it. At this point, Nigerians become overly flustered because
they will blame the judiciary.
Yeah.
They won't blame the EFCC.
For tribunal, they are waiting for the judiciary now.
But are you saying the judiciary, the EFCC has not had any useful, any significant convictions over time?
They've had that.
They've had, but in a case where you have 20 celebrated cases and you have one conviction, what is the percentage? And then you're quick to turn around to say maybe the judges have been compromised. But if you look at the judgment, if you read the judgment seriatim, you find out that truly the judge, you created loopholes. So even if the judge...
There was sound jurisprudence behind it.
Yes. So even if you want to compromise the judiciary, there is already an opportunity. So there is a loophole. And like she has said, there's sound jurisprudential reasoning behind the judgment, which is convincing.
Murphy, sometimes when Nigerians ask for special courts to try economic offenders, I wonder what they're talking about.
That is unnecessary.
Very unnecessary.
Because hold on. Former Rivers State Governor Peter Obi has a Odili, I beg your pardon. Peter Odili had a perpetual injunction.
But do you know that perpetual injunction they are banding around for you? The Federal High Court, the Court of Appeal Benin, actually
vacated
it and asked the EFCC to go back and start de novo. But nobody discussed that Court of Appeal judgment in Benin.
Nobody discussed that.
Nobody discussed it.
Like in this case now, the Rochas Okorocha's case, EFCC already have a criminal record, a previous criminal record of his trial. Okay? Yeah. So why go and arrest him again and then repeat the same charge, only for it to be thrown out? The EFCC should pay back taxpayers' money that they use in prosecuting people, knowing that they are going to lose those cases. Because in criminal prosecution, it is beyond reasonable doubt. You have to prove your case.
And the burden is on EFCC.
Yes, and you must prove your case at the strength of your case, not at the weakness of the other.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? We can't continue like this.
Where we go from here is that the EFCC need to be unbundled. I mean, they have outlived their usefulness. They are no longer... They kept me in their detention for 10 days, by the way. I was arrested. I want them to hear. They kept me in detention. I'm caught with them and now. They kept me in detention for 10 days. Okay?
For doing nothing?
For allegations.
Advising a client.
They just brought allegations that I filed a case and then the client gave me fake documents. And I'm wondering, am I supposed to investigate my client? I don't understand. So I'm a lawyer, you don't do that. And you are asking me at my age to go and bring two directors. How old am I? Who do I know?
If you continue to do the same thing the same way and expect the result to be different, it's madness.
Yes.
EFCC, just like Evans raised here, after the regime of Nuri Badu, EFCC has been like
went to sleep.
Another department of government that is just there for political reasons, just to compensate politically affiliated persons as chairman and all that. How do you have an agency of government that you have like 20 cases that you take to court and you don't win any? Sometimes you narrowly win one.
Well, they will tell you.
Taxpayers' money, like somebody said there, is going. And you keep repeating the same thing. I raised an issue here. And meanwhile, the same EFC will go the extra mile to make these persons look like criminals before the media. No thanks to social media and the rest of it.
They will take you to one room where they ask you to put, they will snap you.
and the court.
They did that to me, and I told you, if this thing leak, I swear,
Jones, no matter how
I will use my blood
these persons
to set this on fire.
No matter how you prosecute these persons on media.
I hope you are not doing that again.
No matter how you get media judgments, the court will not be interested in that media judgment. The court is even when the court knows, I think I must say this, even when the court sees this person as a criminal, But if you don't have enough evidence as a prosecutor, if you don't have enough evidence,
you see this
what can the court do?
You see this thing you are saying? One case that was decided by Justice Kayode, late Justice Kayode, he looked at the case. From all indication, the defendant actually, from all indication.
Yes.
But based on the evidence before the court,
he cannot.
You know what he said? He said this case looks up to the high heavens for want of evidence.
Want of evidence.
Yeah.
And let me quickly say this real quick. You know, after this whole social media trial that, you know, the agencies of government now started doing, when the cases eventually get to court, and they already have a bad case, which they know that the media, the populace don't really know, people already have lofty expectations.
Yeah.
What they want the court to do for them. And you know, like one of these jurists, what was his name now? Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The prophecies of what the courts will do. And nothing more pretentious.
Yes.
So people already have this idea. There's something already they're expecting. And when they don't get this
Good jurisprudence.
their minds are, it's as if the judiciary, let's do away with the judiciary, because what's the point? What's the point? They've been compromised. It's no longer the last hope of the common man.
Even the past president, Buhari, said the judiciary was his problem. He said
judiciary is everybody's problem now.
Expectation. Now they have refused to fix an electoral system proper. They have gone to the polls and did the nonsense they did. Now everybody's waiting for the judiciary
to perform magic.
To be the one to
and then say, when their expectations are not met,
they'll say the judiciary is not.
Murphy, one dementing aspect of the whole thing is Nigerians are not necessarily litigious. We don't like to go to court.
Apart from robo people, please.
No, the thing is the thing is this. The truth is, litigation is demanding, and of course, the economy does not really give Nigerians that luxury of time to do other things except hustle. Just like
all right,
we don't really have the time. I think so, because the time the people will use to go and look for what to eat and feed their children, they'll use it to go to court.
Let me announce that it's just gone 3:30, and that's the radio time on the Voice of the People Radio 90.3 FM on your dial. And this is Studio 903, aka Radio Parlor Show on just. It's on for the asking. And of course, just now we're discussing the court in Abuja freeing former Imo State governor from the EFCC, if you see what I mean. Nigerians are not generally litigious people. They leave everything for God.
We are not, but
which is not a bad thing. If you leave everything to God.
Exactly, I was going to get there.
If you leave
God hand off full.
God is
God hand big.
God hand
You know
off
they
full.
fool.
God is
You know, we want to sleep. You call 4 angels to come and guide you, 2 at your head, 2 at your legs.
And then how are you counting the number of angels?
Everybody,
all right, let
you now begin to wonder how many we guard God, and all the problems will live for
God
God.
does not need guardian angels.
it would appear we have listeners.
Atabalaman is here.
Wilcox, I welcome you powerfully. Lester Wilcox has just come in.
Did you see my phone? Well, it's a full house today. I can see it. First time. Okay, election question is over. Let me around. They don't cash out. They have cashed out.
All right. 0700 903 903 903. Do you, as a listener, have an angle to what we're discussing? Bear your mind here. Let's hear what you have to say about the EFCC and the prosecution of financial and economic crimes in our country. The EFCC came in 2003.
Yes.
Yeah, 2003.
And so after how many years we still
20 years.
After how many years we're we're still biting the
Ogo was
nail.
about 10 years
then.
then.
Yes, he was 2005.
Ogo was 10 years old.
Became an act.
Yes.
No, 2004.
And then became effective.
All right. We have a listener here. Please keep the radio. Please keep the radio out of it if you want me to take you. Please keep the radio out. Thank you.
Yeah, the radio is out of it. Good evening, sir.
Yeah. The name, please. Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Alabalato from Ojo. I greet all of you, sir. Oga Jones, someone said there that Nigerians don't used to go to court or don't like going to court. Is it lie? Are you with me?
Go on.
Hello?
Go on.
So someone said that, yes, Nigeria don't, it's a lie. If Nigeria don't used to go to court, why would someone be nice saying that, oh, the judges are now feed up a lot of cases in the hands of the judges? I think what we need to do concerning the EFCC, Oga Jones, until you and I know that, oh, corruption is our problem, and that we need to look for a special court that will now be taking care of the corruption. Aside from
So are you saying the EFCC has been throwing cases away? Some of them prima facie ones. Hold on. Some of them
a lot of cases
because of corruption. Hold on. Corruption at what point? At the EFCC or at where? Where is the corruption coming from here?
I'm talking from the angle of the politicians. Even among the EFCC staff, you see a lot of them collecting, even some of them even going to give information to the person that they are charging.
No,
that's
Alaba, thank you. Thank you, Alaba. Thank you. Many thanks. 0700-903-903-903. Court frees Okorocha from the EFCC. Don't be deceived by that headline.
So just like I was trying to add to what my learned
So sorry, let me take another listener. Hello, welcome. You want to speak up a little?
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yeah, welcome. Where are you calling from? Your name and...
My name is Prince from Oshodi.
All right, go on now.
My own contribution, the way I see EFCC is designed to hunt opposition. You know, when PVP...
did you get what I said?
Yes, I get what you said.
So EFCC, I am talking about the case involving former Governor Okorocha and the court, the justice, the court president throwing the case out, saying the case had been on before. So where's the opposition? Where's the opposition here? Am I talking? Am I speaking opposition? I am not speaking opposition. Please.
Okay. Hello. Okay, sir. Now, this case, why Roger Okorocha got tickets for presidential this thing?
No. Go, please. Okay, maybe you want to call back. You need
to listen more.
Do some listening is an art, and many of us take it for granted.
Some of us are not hearing him.
Come to the mic.
You don't have a mindset to a lot of things. So the moment you are discussing something, what they bring to bear is their mindset. Although I didn't hear what the best from what Jones is reporting back.
The EFCC is set up for opposition.
So that is the mindset.
That's not true. That's not true.
No,
but why do I say
that
the
is
mindset?
The mindset. A lot of people
have some politicians.
They say these are two different things.
So but some politicians actually make it look so. Oshomole saying,
hold on.
Because another
listener is here. Yeah, welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the single and all the girls in the house.
Yeah, there's only one lady here, so not all the girls.
And
the guest.
Okay.
And the ladies in the house. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you. Your name, where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Austin. I'm calling from Ojo. Yes, I have a question, and I want you to educate me on it, sir. My question here is this. I've taken my time to study some of the Western government agencies and their kind of judges. These people are being appointed, not the executive of the arm of the government. It's within the fold of the legislative arm of the government. So they appoint their chief justice and some of the top government agencies. So my question now is this: Can that be implemented in our constitution, whereby the EFCC, the DSS, and the chief justice will be off the executive arm of government, whereby the president come around and appoint? Can the appointment be made within the house or within the community, whereby they can come together and bring out an honest people, so that because
don't make your question tedious. Don't make the question tedious. Let it be straightforward. I'm talking about Okorocha, the court, and the EFCC.
Yes. Why we are debating on it is what the EFCC have done, because sometimes we believe that, not we, sometimes I believe that in the EFCC their judgment and even the court is being based on either biasness or there's money that has exchanged hands.
Oh boy. Well, can anybody help me here?
Yes, please. I was going
I'm
to
just
say
asking a question.
But my question is, what is this question?
The question is, he's saying that why is it that the president is the one that will appoint the EFCC chairman?
He didn't quite say that.
That's what he meant. That can't the National Assembly do it, or any other institution appoint, so that the president will not have influence over. That's what he's trying to say. Since
you understand what he is talking about, give him a possible answer.
She's going to do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go on. You were.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, the excuse me, the EFCC is a creation of statutes, right? It's not really that we can just come to our community and choose someone that we know per se. It's not really that simplified. So, and I was going to say that the backdrop of this kind of bad faith prosecution that the EFCC undergo, it makes this kind of, picking up somebody, prosecuting them just for the sake of prosecution, it makes the judiciary look bad. And it makes it look like, yes, these people, they are all together, they are all working in unity.
Yeah. Sorry.
Another, that's why some people will say maybe the FCC are bribing, they are being bribed.
Okay, just a minute. Yeah, welcome. Your name, where you're calling from?
Yeah, John from Ogun State.
Yeah, John Ogun.
I'm just wondering, why is it that it's always so hard for the EFCC to have a conclusive evidence on even an arrest on these politicians? But when it comes to this Yahoo boys and all this, they catch them, they just catch them and they parade them. Are we saying the EFCC is more political?
Let me break it down for you.
Now, why?
Let me break it down for you from a layman point of view. When a politician wants to misappropriate funds, he does it using process.
Yes.
He would set up shell companies, special purpose vehicles. And when they go after these politicians, they go after the politicians direct, leaving out the process, these SPVs. And those SPVs, in some cases, are created as consultants to transactions.
They're independent.
They're independent. They are created as consultants to transactions. And you actually see that, take for example, you want to set up a radio station. And then, because you want to hide money, you already have the idea. You've worked in a radio station for 40-something years. You now bring in Liboros Oshoma as a consultant to the setting up of the radio station. You write the proposal.
Articles, yeah.
The articles. and then you give them to Liberal Soshoma to sign. Liberal Soshoma signs them as a consultant to the organization. Meanwhile, you are the MD CEO, I'm the consultant. And then the organization pays me for those same articles you have generated in my name. And at the end, EFCC comes and say, oh, these people are fraudulent. They are fraudulent. They arrest the MD CEO. And then you look at the consultant really had done all there is to do. And so,
and earn his money.
In his professional capacity. And rather than look out for the areas where you can actually, no matter how small the crime is, even if it's for 1 year, where you can actually nail the MDCO, you're looking for those big ones that will hog headlines.
And they will, to get the proof of evidence will be very
To get the proof of evidence becomes difficult. But for the Yahoo boy.
Are you saying the EFCC is selective here?
Not necessarily.
Because that's why I said.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yes.
Let me jump in.
Sorry, quickly, let's start. For the Yahoo boy, you see him direct. All the transactions are directional in his name. So he goes, he collects money to do something, and he didn't do it. The money is in his account.
So is it difficult in law to nail the financial fraudster?
Sorry, let me to ask again at less time.
Ibori's case. Yeah.
Ibori's case, I will answer your question using Ibori's case. Ibori's case, for example, when the Metropolitan Police investigated the matter, and they saw
in London.
Yes, in London, and they saw similar traits, they narrowed it down to card fraud that they could hold him to.
Yes.
That were committed even before he became politically exposed.
Not bogus.
Not the bogus one, but in Nigeria, EFCC started chasing him for the bogus one, 173 count charge. You know, you hear, oh, he misappropriated data state money. Without evidence.
Ziggy, what he's saying in essence is that we will wait until the second coming before EFCC nails any politically exposed Nigerians.
I think Lester wanted to...
Yes, I just wanted to jump into this briefly. For me, EFCC is too in a hurry, and arbitrariness now sets in.
Yeah.
Because they want to please the employers, they want to please a section of society.
Yeah.
That's the section that is always saying they are doing nothing, and the section that is always saying they chop our money, they tip our money, they tip our money. They want to please that section. So they go for arbitrariness in arresting and in terms of investigation. Now, just like Libro said, there are shell companies. No governor. I mean, Fashola told that he didn't sign.
They didn't sign checks.
And of course, it's true. President does not need to sign a check. For him, if he wants to be corrupt, I'm not saying he is. For billions of Lagos State money not to be in his personal account, he doesn't need to sign a check, and that's the truth of the matter. So there are shell companies. There are proxies. There are other non-state actors.
You can use kickback.
There are other non-state actors. There are contractors.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, no governor goes to the till and carry money.
No.
A governor gives money, award contracts to, and then, like Bilbro said, one big area they use in stealing is consultancy.
Of course.
Consultancy is not
nowhere defined.
There is no BOQ. There is no bill of quantity. There is no
nothing.
There is nothing. So a road project that costs 1 billion. You appoint a consultant before you design the road. You pay him 500 million. You appoint a consultant to see through the process of bidding. You pay him 300 million. You appoint a consultant to now see the deployment of the contractor on site. You pay him another 200 million. Then as the work progresses, you are seeing consultants. Now let me tell you what happened.
That's what the do state government does.
And professional fee is not price tag.
It's not price tag. Let me tell you what happened in NSITF. NSITF within 3 years. Unfortunately, I had a friend who was ED. Within 3 years, NSITF spent 3.4 billion on training.
Wait. Training human beings.
No, animals.
The people are plenty.
So he spent 3.4. And when I see when I look at sincerely, some of us may not do well in government because they will not because we cannot.
You won't play ball.
Your conscience will not allow you.
I cannot rationalize the fact. Just a minute, let me just please let that man hold. Let him hold. Look,
He's
just let him hold. Look, this
Make
is
I just welcome him.
Okay, welcome him.
Good evening.
A very good evening to all the parliament.
Yeah.
My name is Prince Wise from
Amuwodo. You see, Okoro Chakis, it is a AFC that boggled their case themselves. There's a case before, instead of us to go on appeal, they have to go to another court to charge the same man. And instead of now, as it is now, I just see EFCC as is to the gallery.
Yeah.
Why am I saying this? As it is today, the present EFCC, I think the suspended one, I don't know, maybe the young age is stopping him. As of today...
Oh, okay, young age, they worry person, not be only old age.
At times, if somebody is not competent enough, we begin to talk of young age.
Okay.
The man in charge of EFCC, they were picking all those big politicians. Have you forgotten? Nigeria politicians today, they ready what is allegedly to billions. They're ready to pay good money. They sound.
Yeah.
They're ready to bribe your opposing lawyer. Hello, let me complete my message.
Yeah, but we got you first time. We got you first time.
And you get me for the first time. But let me tell you, to convince a politician in this country today is a difficulty. What they need to do now, set up special court. I've been saying it for the past 18 or 20 years.
You can't compromise the special court too.
No, all right. Special court with man by Nigerians.
Thank you. I don't want to bring people from the moon. Just to tie in my this thing. So it's covered that when is the news broke on, when the then Minister of Employment and Labour weighed in, suspend, and then the news broke up. And I was hearing that on the budget line for training, they were proposing that, in fact, they were even blaming the minister, that they proposed 280,000 naira per person per training. 280,000 naira. Now,
for
a junior staff
for the week or
for a day training
per day, okay,
per day, per training per day. And then the minister was the one that jacked it up to 320,000 naira. And then you when you hear this kind of thing, is it true that I conduct for 50,000, 35,000,
35,000?
So is it the same training that we are talking about? So you discover that this is where the angle.
Are we damned?
No, we are not damned. At this angle, the EFCC will say,
but you are speaking
I'm coming, sir. Let me just edit to EFCC. Let me narrow to EFCC now. Hold on. Now EFCC will say 2.4 billion was spent on training. They have chopped the money, Abi. Now, what is the proof that the executive director got the money or the MD got the money? I am a consultant. You pay money to me. I give a certificate that I trained you. What happens to the money? It's
Lester, why me they talk like this is
I rest my case.
Yeah, a former GMD of NNPC, Yakubu Jackson. Yes. Am I right?
Yes.
Yakubu. There was a prima facie case against him. It was clear, but the EFCC lost the case.
No. That case, they said they found money. Cash. Yes. And then the man said in a house, some of this cash were gifts. Then, that's why I tell you that EFCC in their own cases. So now, when they charge Yakubu, and the charges were that they mismanaged funds. The contractors, including the Omokore case, came to say this contract were actually awarded to us to do XYZ. And we actually had commenced the process of doing XYZ. NNPC came out to say, in as far as this contract is concerned, these people, they've earned our trust. They have been working with us. We actually awarded the contract to them. So how do you now establish fraud What you should be doing ordinarily would be, okay, you have cash that is way above your earnings. Apart from the fact that you say it is way above your earnings, you also need to establish that that cash is a proceed of fraud, and you trace where it actually came out from, which is sometimes is very difficult. So you now begin to lump contractors together that you thought brought that money. And at the end of the day, the contractors will say, these jobs that we have done were legally and validly done. And there are documents to show.
Exactly. And
our money was legally paid.
One of the problems
legally
secured.
One of the problems that EFCC have is that why they go for all those bogus money, they forget that it is not the volume of money involved that determines
conviction.
The height of conviction.
Exactly.
Even if it's 700,000 naira, that is a proceed of fraud.
Yes.
That you can establish.
Stealing is 7 years imprisonment.
Exactly.
Whether it's 1 naira, that is the proceed of fraud. Okay? But they will leave all those ones that they can establish and prove in court and then go for the bogus one that will make headlines. And they have no evidence whatsoever.
What about the media frenzy?
Exactly. I was going to talk about
what about the media frenzy? Because that is the area our judiciary.
Obviously, Zigibe, the media must report stories.
They must find
something to say. But what about the professional body?
They must find something to say.
The professional body that
it is EFCC that organize conference for the media, and they will give the media their press statement.
No. Most times the media will go and fish it out. Let me say this. If you go and put a press conference or a story, a governor arrested for 700,000 naira fraud, who will carry that? I mean. Everybody.
No, wait. No. See, Alesta. You and I will say, so EFCC has been reduced to chasing 700,000 naira for a governor.
Do you remember at a point in their life?
But then,
Same Festus Keyamo was reporting that EFCC had just 2 million, or they don't have money.
Ziggy, let me explain it to you the way it should work. In Otumagbe Gadane's case, EFCC said the man stole 60 billion. They got to court. That was what was in the headline. Citizen Jones, you are aware of this matter. They got to court. They amended the charge to 250 million naira.
From 60
billion to 250 million. And at the end of the day, because there was no evidence to prove 60 billion, at the end of the day, this 250 million, eventually they said because it was a contract awarded to his friend, that the contract was awarded to his friend, and that from that 250 million, his friend gave somebody who is related to him a gift. And so when a judge sits down and listens to all this kind of allegation,
how do you establish he's his friend?
At the end of the day, what do you expect him to do? What we are saying is, you can make noise of 60 billion in the media. If it is 7,000 naira that you can prove, you go to court and amend your charge to 7,000 naira. What is in the media is 60 billion.
Oh, see, okay.
Mr. Jones, there for Animal Farm, if you want to make a talk. Go on.
You're right. Sorry, I will draw my own distance.
Okay, go on. Yeah.
Respect, senior. My greeting to the house.
Yeah.
My greeting to the house.
Greetings.
Man, I listen to everything the audio guests are saying. I find out that all are the same talking. Your time is all is based on corruption. All based on corruption. Both EFCC and court all are product of corruption. I'm not like you, a rotten system. All are product of a rotten system. But thank God that everybody can see what is playing out and what is happening in the system. And if I can study well, I find out that almost 80% of Nigeria are fed up with this kind of system. They want a better system for themselves, which I will plead with everybody in the studio there to help. Because I had very well. They should educate Nigerians to know that this leadership belongs to them. Nothing but them. They have to have say more about this leadership, please.
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Let me know what this time, please.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Let me talk about it. EFCC was established because ICPC was not effective enough.
No.
I'm coming.
No.
I'm coming.
ICPC
I'm coming.
its particular
Yes. But when eventually EFCC was established.
No, why don't come on a wrong information? That's why I'm saying no.
Yes,
no.
but let me tell you where I'm going.
Ziggy.
EFCC.
Ziggy, hold on. EFCC was established by an act of parliament to fight economic crimes.
And not necessarily because ICPC was failing.
And
No,
not
exactly.
because the ICPC came to deal with public servants and
Yes.
civil servants.
Now,
yes.
where I'm going is
So
this.
don't
when
come
EFCC
like
eventually
that.
was established, they lost
Yes.
the steam, the earliest steam, that for the reason why it was established. New Ribadu was the best and the first EFCC had. After him, it was Waziri. After Waziri, then is it Lamode? But Lamode himself, who eventually became the head of EFCC, was even a victim. There was a time he himself was even charged for corruption. I think at the time he was declared.
Was he charged?
Yeah, he was investigated. He was investigated. Then eventually
he
was accused.
Even the outgone EFCC chairman.
You know, eventually he became the head of the same EFCC. So the point I'm saying here is the system is what actually squeezes so many of these.
And Ziggy Ibe, let me ask for the umpteenth time, if you like, the 1000th time. Are we damned?
No, quickly.
Where is the ICPC now?
No, you are still not getting the point, Ziggy.
Please. Are we damned at this point?
EFCC is bogus. And the tendency for EFCC also
when you
to...
say bogus, what does it mean?
We said, let me give you an instance. In societies where anti-corruption fights like this work to a very large extent, the man who is investigating, the agency that is investigating, is distinct from the agency that keeps proceeds of crime.
Yeah.
It's also distinct from the agency that will prosecute.
That auction the proceeds of
That
crime.
will auction the proceeds.
Forfeiture.
But here, let me tell you one big crime in EFCC where all of them, Ziggy was talking about all of them being investigated. First, if you confiscate assets, you forfeit assets temporarily or otherwise, those assets are managed. Nobody's asking for the account. Thank God the fellow is here. You have a house, for example, 25-story building, and businesses are occupying, they are paying rent, and it's being temporarily forfeited to EFCC. Rent is being paid daily. Nobody is asking for the money.
That's what caused problem between Magu and the AG.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is on one side.
Sharing.
So, Citizen Jones, I'm in EFCC, I have problems with you. And then Evans is my friend. He comes, he said, Jones, we had a business in Canada, and they paid him 80 million. He was supposed to do this, do that. And I said, bring petition. And Evans brings a petition. Meanwhile, this transaction is purely civil. There were things Evans was supposed to do that he didn't do.
Which is a
the moment he brings the petition, Evans is my friend. I go and arrest Jones. I keep him behind bars. And I say, Jones, you must bring that money. Otherwise, I will release you. I get a warrant. I keep you there. 1 year, you are in custody. Because you are not a big politician that can make headline, you are there. And I'm chasing you over. And the all you hear is a corruption matter. Don't go there. It's a corruption matter. And so, because the man also who is to prosecute is in EFCC, he's not asking whether the client, the accused, the suspect is in custody. They bring file to him. He say the evidence is not substantial enough to prosecute. But the accused is in custody.
Liboros, are we therefore damned?
We are not. So we need to do things that we need to do.
Wait. If we are not damned, how come we are losing the fight against economic criminals?
We are not. What we are basically doing, we are window-dressing the fight. We are not fighting.
We need to come properly.
We are not fighting.
We are not prepared.
We are not fighting.
Let me take a caller is there. Well, welcome.
Hello. Good afternoon, Citizen Jones. And everybody in the parliament. This is Obi calling from Ikeja.
Obi, yeah.
Obi calling, yeah. My comment goes to the lawyers in the studio. Is it the lacunas that we have in our legal document that is causing all this? Because let me use their language. I put it to them that the cause of what is happening in this country. Because if you have three cases and if you have a case and go to three judges, you will see different judgment from three judges. Why is it so?
No, not true.
No, so it depends on the evidence of each case. No two cases are the same.
We're talking about two cases now. We're talking about two cases that went to two different judges and the judgment came out the same.
Listen to the listener.
Hold on. Why I'm saying this is that if 419 boy goes to the court with a smaller liar,
I've already explained that one.
And for politicians go to court with senior advocates. That is why they're always making it, because there are loopholes everywhere in our constitution. They will use.
Jones,
thank you very much.
Jones,
all right, thank you.
I explained it. Alesta explained it. We all explained it here.
For the sake of the listener,
for the small 419,
it is for criminal matters. It is proof beyond reasonable doubt. And when we say proof beyond reasonable doubt, if you are prosecuting, your prosecution will start from investigation. Investigation has to be watertight, because the defense counsel have a duty, and the duty is to ensure that he creates doubt in the mind of the court.
Yes.
And when that happens, the law is that it should be resolved in favor of the accused person. The unfortunate thing about it is that once a person is arrested in Nigeria, or a person is a defendant,
he's presumed guilty.
We now believe that he does not even have rights. We forget that the same right we exercise as citizens is the same right the adverse party also exercises as a citizen.
And to explain the small Yahoo boy that he's talking about, you tell somebody like Ogo, I want to marry you. I have a problem. My money is tied down in the bank. Just give me 80,000 naira to sort out my challenges.
Yeah.
And then I'll pay you back. He gives you 80,000 naira. And then tomorrow you say, okay, there's this contract I have that I want to execute. If you give me 500,000, I will execute the contract in 2 weeks. I'll pay you back. After all, we are getting married soon. And then she pays you the 500,000. There's no contract. You go to Yabalikat's bar and then you lounge. At the end of the day, she sees that there's no movement. She goes to EFCC and says, this guy swindled me 500,000 and another 80,000. EFCC prints his accounts. They actually sees that she paid 500,000, paid 80,000. What is the defense? She comes and says, this is the document he sent to me of the contract that he has, because I've had a similar matter. And then EFCC will take that contract, that document, and they go to Total in Port Harcourt. Total will say, we didn't issue this document in the first place. So there's no document like that. No, that document is forged. On the basis of the document, you collected money. And you say, no, that she said, my lover, she gave me the money. But if she's your lover, how come from your system there's an email from you sending this document to her? And so it is easy. For those ones are low-hanging fruit. You present such evidence before the court, the tendency, the evidence is obvious that you want to swindle. But for the politician, like we have said, he does not sign check. He does not receive money in his account. In his case, NDDC. In his own case, he gets Evans, who is a consultant. Evans gets the money. He says he wants to buy equipment in America. He changed money into $1. Half of the $1 goes to the governor.
Goes back to the governor.
In cash, in Babariga. He puts them in Babariga.
Yes.
And
there's no trace.
There's no trace. Meanwhile, you say, Naira, you go to his account, what is there in his account is like 1.5 million.
Liboros, you speak as though we are damned.
We are not damned. So what we need to do, eleke the bed. What we need to do is to change the process. When judges' houses were burgled, were raided, all in a sting operation. I listened to a Metropolitan Police, a Nigerian guy, Igbo boy. He's a Metropolitan Police, and he came. You know what he said? He said, if this operation, this is not a sting operation. He said, when you carry out a sting operation, you have body cams. When you get there, because the court is also going to look at the way you collected evidence.
Yes. Whether it was voluntary or you
He said, so you must have body cams. He said, when you come back, there is a department that sits down that didn't even know about this transaction that will review those body cams. They are forensically trained to ensure that the way you collect evidence, because at the end of the day, they are going to court, they don't want to lose. That is why London has not charged Desiani. Because they will tell you the evidence is not watertight that will grant conviction.
And they are not in a hurry to go to court.
And if you go to court anyhow, they will sanction you as a lawyer.
Yeah, of course.
Come to court anyhow.
Exactly. Look, because let me say this.
In the Bori case, the defendant asked him to go and the lawyers asked him to go and plead guilty. Of course. He said no, that he want to go and meet he wants to meet another law firm. The law firm told him that if we prosecute this case, we will lose our license.
The law firm that eventually defended him, they were in prison. They convicted them.
Look, let me say this. The law enforcement agents do not take prosecution as a business.
No, it's not a business.
They are not computing the cost to the taxpayer.
No.
Of what they are doing.
It's budget.
So that is why you can afford to bubble it. You are not seeing the economic importance of the policeman that stands on the road. You don't see that it's a business that standing there is costing the taxpayer something.
Yes.
So he sees himself as, okay, it's government now, it's government. So that is what
Lester, you are the only one to help me here. Are we damned?
We are not damned. We are not damned. We are not damned. Look, we can every society reinvent itself, and that's what we're here. Because until EFCC sees every case from the business angle to the government and to the taxpayer.
Yes.
Now, you cannot commit resources of the taxpayer, call it budget to whatever, you cannot commit resources and boggle, because that is the KPI. The Attorney General upon which office you report to must have a KPI. And the KPI should be how many cases did you complete in investigation, and how many cases did you take to court, how many cases did you win, and what is the cost. And this must be published to Nigerians to see on each case. You don't just wake up and say, Governor, Delta State Governor stole 120 billion.
Let's go to court.
The next thing, you go and grab him and then take him to court. The cost of mobilizing a troop or a battalion with resources to go to Okowa's house to arrest him is cost.
It's cost.
And we're not competing.
And then the governor will come and say, you demanded $10 million from me.
Even the court, it was what they call judicial time.
Judicial time? No. It's not even, no, that is the main, because that is why a judge will be so angry that you came to a case and they wasted his time of the court. And that is why I'm happy what is happening now. Sorry, let me just say this.
The slam costs on EFCC.
Yeah, let me say this now. I'm happy what's happening now.
They don't pay.
Those people that took some of those frivolous cases of don't swear in Bola Tinubu, I'm not don't do this. I see the amount of cost.
I know Ziggy will come now.
I see the amount of cost that the court awarded. Because when you come to waste the time of the court, you should be punished. And that will serve as a deterrent to a lot of people like my brother Libros and co that will go and be filing frivolous. What I mean?
Yeah.
Childish frivolous cases in court. So that if the cost becomes very big.
Not all cases are frivolous. So a lot of
some are childish.
Alester, you know I will not be so jobless as to going to court to stop an inauguration. For me, it is joblessness, especially when such matters are within the ambit of the election petition tribunal to deal with. And the matters are already before such court. You still go to court and want to jump the gun. And then you grant media interviews and you say the court is delaying.
And you say we are not damned.
And then you see senior lawyers rationalize these things. And then,
that the fundamental right of citizens must be enforced.
Just
we are talking about fundamental rights when the constitution has already created a tribunal. So we want to have parallel.
Ophélie, let's talk business now. It's just gone 11 minutes. 11 minutes. We are 12 minutes past 4. Now let's go to our next story. Plateau killings. You know that the Plateau state of Nigeria, an otherwise serene and temperate region of Nigeria, and a haven for holiday makers from overseas, has become a killing field, more so in supposed peacetime, is a matter for very deep regret. Gory details oozing out of about 8 local governments of Plateau State as we speak say at least 345 persons have been killed in cold blood within 3 months. And 200 of the fatalities were recorded in Mangu local government alone. Mangu, I hear, is the second largest local government there. Now, this is not to mention 18,751 IDP camps in 14 locations in the state. We must call the bluff of these killers, don't you think, gentlemen?
I think so. This case is dear to my heart because I went to the University of Jos, and for 5 consecutive years, I schooled there, and I know that area very well, the local governments and all that. When the crisis broke out in 2001, that the major crisis, people attributed it to issue of ethnicity, some religions and all that, before it spiraled out up to a point where in many of the local government, persons, criminal entities will come from nowhere, ransack a whole village, kill everybody, almost everybody, and then
unchallenged.
Since then it has been like that. Some people have said that it's because the indigenes sold virtually half of their land to non-indigenes who are Muslims, and then they have land crisis issues. Till today, nobody can really pinpoint. Some people say it's politics, but you cannot really pinpoint the real cause of the crisis in Jos.
And you're wondering what type of politics that is.
We don't understand. Every day you hear different kind of. You see, their own killings even predated the Boko Haram issue.
Rubbish, yeah.
You understand? Before they were eventually overrun by even the insurgents. But the truth is that it is high time the government started a process of bringing solution to this problem. A lot of persons have lost their lives. I mean, in one of the attacks, they entered the university, and all that. And they do this in broad daylight. They kill people recklessly and all that. So, for me, I think the government of that state have failed. Some time ago, I think a state of emergency was declared in that state, right? I think by Obasanjo. Yes, there was a time a state of emergency was declared in that state. So, perhaps the government at the center should look into the origin of the crisis, now that we have new service chief, and then resolve the problem once and for all, so that those people can have a lease of life.
Ogo, for me, these killings appear as if we are watching a very horrible film, a very poorly produced horror film. And you kill human beings like you're killing animals. It's crazy. It's crazy. In this seeming peace time. I've been to Jos once, temperate area, temperate zone, and Plateau, Benue, the food basket of this country.
Yeah. It's not a food basket.
That's what
it used to be. It's supposed to be, if you ask me.
Let me say this. Sorry. Let me say this. Unfortunately, the issue was totally mismanaged out of sentiment and
what
applying
issue now?
the issue of the Plateau.
Okay.
Out of sentiment and applying the wrong motive and terminology to what happened in Jos. Just like you say, it's a very wonderful place. And the first time I went to Jos was in 1992. I tell you, we got to Jos at about 11 p.m. in the night, and none of us could leave the bus.
Yes, the cold.
Yeah.
None of us could leave the bus. In fact, by the time we go to Saminaka from Kaduna, we go to Saminaka. From Saminaka, getting to Plateau State and to Jos. But Saminaka is the last major town.
Okay, you went through Kaduna?
Yes.
Okay.
Before we got there. That was my very first experience going to Jos. I love the place. In fact, by the time that was a time I got to Jos and it was raining and we were in the car and there was any boom, 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 boom.
Yes,
ice block.
Ice block. Yeah, that's it.
That tells you.
You can even get your windscreen.
It breaks windscreen. I was told. So
even the
that
roof
tells you the kind of, and it's high on the hill, and all that, and that's how beautiful Jos is. But it was reduced. Now there is this indigenous settlership issue.
Yes.
Of course, the settlers are the Muslims.
Yes.
The indigenous are predominantly Christians. Now, when you sell your land to people and they start coming in, it becomes an issue.
Yes.
Now, that's why they created Jos North and Jos South local government. Now, Even the indigenous said just not cannot be for only because the Muslims are more in just not.
Yes.
Now that's also bring a problem that the just not just this part that the Muslims are the non-indigenous are more, they cannot hold executive positions in that area. That is also part of the problem. And unfortunately, the media was only presenting a very bad side of it. And it become was during the last 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari. It becomes, oh, it was Fulani herdsmen, it was Fulani herdsmen, it was Fulani. Meanwhile, 2004 or 3, Joshua Dare was suspended for 6 months.
Yes,
that was the first state of emergency we had in the country.
Yes.
And so when people talk about it's Fulani herdsmen and that is causing the problem in Jos, I said, what happened in 2003? Sometimes we lost history or we deliberately twist history to favor a current narrative. The issue of Jos and Southern Kaduna is similar.
It's similar.
And with due respect, the Southern Christian community is not helping matters.
How?
Because we always, I'm a Christian from the South and I'm proud of it, but we always see it as a religious thing of the Muslims in the North, in that area, want to lord it on the Christians and take over their responsibility. And that emboldens, and they give them that false narrative, and that emboldens them to take some actions that will not be for the interest of peace. For instance, retaliate. You know that you Christians, with due respect, are not good in shedding blood. But that cannot be said of some other people.
I don't know where you got that from.
No, I'm telling you.
That's true.
I'm a Christian.
We are supposed to forgive and all.
We are supposed to forgive and pray for our enemies.
Yeah.
But in some other people, they believe in retaliation. If you do one, we'll do 10. And you cannot. You cannot.
And they have some scriptures.
You cannot match 10. You cannot match 10.
Please remove scriptures from
No,
this.
we're talking about the problem. I don't have all the solution, but I'm just giving my own narrative.
Yeah.
This may not be the record, but I'm giving my own from based on my own individual assessment.
So,
and so when we do this
essentially, Alester, we need to grapple with the issue of citizenship, settlership, and indigenship. These
and
are
then religion.
Three basic issues
and then the religion aspect of it. The religion aspect of it, which has.
Sorry,
and it is a foreign religion that's giving us problem.
Citizen Jones, you see, I asked myself recently, I was at a seminar, a Catholic lawyer seminar, and the priest, the professor, asked a very germane and vital question. He said, we do not...
He asked.
Yes. And I saw a lot of deep reasoning in that question. No matter the differences that we think we have, if we have a common goal, a common dream, a common vision, a common mission, every differences, every religion, every culture would be geared towards promoting that common vision. You hear the Americans say the American dream. So what is the Nigerian dream?
Do we dream at all?
Exactly. So if at all, we dream. And so, if we believe that there is a Nigerian dream, and your religion will try, no matter how they try to convince you, there will be a space to promote that Nigerian dream of peaceful coexistence or whatever it is. If that, let's say, assume. And the Christian religion will promote that. The politics, the political ideology also will promote that. But here it is absolutely absent. So the dream now becomes the vision of whoever leader that is there. So the Muslim leader have their own dream of what it should be. The Christian leaders have their own vision or dream of what it should be. And in most cases, these are personal. So you now quick in nailing it.
No, liberals.
Like I want to nail the coffee.
Is this why there must be wanton killings?
That's where I'm going to. That's what I'm now going to. In killing it.
There's a dream in the national pledge.
Do we even recite it?
That's what I'm saying.
In killing it.
There's also a national ethics.
What then leads to all of this? Citizen Jones, as you are here now, you are a man without identity. Oh. Sorry to bust your bubble. You are not. You are not, unfortunately.
Go to court.
You are not. That's what I'm telling you. You are the one that will go to court because I'm telling you that you are not. Do you know why?
No, it's one offending you.
You are offending me.
Do you know why? Do you know why you are not? Citizen Jones, try it. Go to your Akwa Ibom state and say you want to stand for a political office. That is the day you know you are not from Akwa Ibom.
I know go do.
That's what I'm saying. Because no, not sharing money. Because your people, naturally, that comes to drink tombo with you, we say, no, you are from Lagos. The Lagos man will say, no, you are from Akwa Ibom. At the end of the day, you are a man without identity, without knowing it. So, you give a land to somebody who comes to buy a land from you in the name of peaceful coexistence. Over time, he now says, look, this place, there are certain things I must do.
Yeah.
And you say, no, these things can't be done here. Instead of finding a middle ground, and then your common enemy comes in and sees the differences. You know, he comes here, he tells this one what they want to hear. He goes there, he tells this other one what they want to hear. Yeah, all in the name of peaceful coexistence.
And
then you set brothers against each other.
Let me put it to Murphy. Ogo, you are not saying anything. Ziggy, you are not saying anything.
Because there are people without identity.
But listen. We have new service
chiefs. You see that
chiefs.
conclusion?
Please, hold on. We have new service chiefs on board. And so things like this should be a no-no, if you ask me.
But they will tell you they are just being brought into the job newly. And, but
are they just brought into the job?
But that has been the
nobody is just brought into the job.
That has been the excuse. Each time they come, Each time they come, you hear them say that I'm not going to allow
Ziggy Ibe.
They have not said Ziggy
Ibe. I'm not talking about when they were appointed.
Now let me tell you
a problem.
Let me tell you the recent word the new police officer said that. You know, each time
police or the IG?
He said he feel like tiger.
Yeah, he said he could release the tigers in him right now to deal with the
enemies of state.
The enemies of the state. And look, in fact, most time when they come, they'll tell you, no, we are going to start. These approaches has never worked.
Which of the approach?
Approach of tackling the insecurity in so many of the regions. It has never worked. But are we discussing insecurity in one part? We have insecurity everywhere now. That's why I keep wondering.
But the focus is
let me say,
where are we starting from?
Listen, Plateau State killings is a metaphor for what's happening across the country. It's time to call the bluff of these freewheeling marauders.
Yes.
Because there should be no place for it in 2023.
During Obasanjo declared a state of emergency in certain areas, and it worked.
But it didn't work.
It worked in a way. But do you know what the backlash of that declaration?
Because you removed 7 governors.
Obasanjo did those illegally.
Yeah, okay, look at it.
It didn't work.
Did you not save Ziggy? A point?
It didn't save anybody. Rather, it created more confusion.
What you must know is the issue of doing all this has never worked with us. Can we have a new approach? Each time service chiefs are being appointed, we hear promises upon promises, and before you know it, we go back to the same.
No, that's not it. That's Ziggy. I think you are missing the point.
Is it difficult to round?
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with service chief. Let's not put
that same route we following has never worked.
Ziggy, it has nothing to do with service chief or the number one police chief. The issue here is a problem of peaceful coexistence. And if not properly managed and handled, I see it happening in Lagos. Wait now. I'm not talking about service chief. I see it also happening in Lagos very soon. As metropolitan as Lagos is, in the last election,
that was a dangerous.
We saw it naked. On the streets of Lagos, manifested, and then we hide our political preference we hide our cultural and ethnic sentiment under political preference. And then you now begin to blame others for their political preference. If you narrow what is happening down in Jos, it boils down also to land ownership,
It's political.
political preferences, control, religion, and you know.
It begs the question.
If you now leave the leaders,
it begs the question of close to 63 years of having been independent, we still are finding it difficult to start.
No. Just we started. We were not as divided as we are.
Yes.
Unless
we have never
true.
been divided.
We've
never been divided as we are.
No, we've
Yes.
not been divided.
Yes.
That was why the Fulani man that's in Jos was able to come to Jos, live in Jos, buy land in Jos.
The constitution also gave him that right.
And let's even this constitution. The natural existence of man. The natural existence of man gave him that confidence that he came to Jos. They came to Jos.
Murphy, I'm sorry we have shut you up. I'm sorry about that.
They help to.
But wahala dey.
No, they help to improve.
If you not talk.
Where the wahala dey?
They help to improve.
When you not talk,
They
wahala
help to
dey.
improve the economy of Jos and make Jos what it is. Because the potato farming, Jos is known for Irish potato.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what Jos is known for.
Yeah.
And who are the farmers? They are the Fulanis. They are the majority of the farmers of Irish potato and onions. Now, if you travel, the first time I travel to Jos, the first time I go and buy potato, I like sweet but not Irish.
Yes.
So when I go to the market, Irish potato was in quantum surplus. And who was the farmers? It was the Fulanis. So they came in, you gave them their land.
For
and so
industrial purposes.
they existed with you. They cattle everything. They existed with you. Now, when let me say even up to 1999. So people started in 1999. When
The Great Crash started in 2000.
Yes.
2001.
All right.
Yes.
Let me invite the listener. If you feel up to raising, joining issues or raising new ones,
Yes.
asking new questions, why not? 0700 903 903 903.
There's insecurity
Plateau
in
State,
my village.
Plateau
as we speak.
killings in Plateau State.
People,
Horrible things we are hearing from that quiet and that otherwise quiet, calm, cool state, cool environment. Hello, welcome.
Hello,
Yeah,
it is in Jos. Good afternoon.
I greet you. I beg, waiting be your name, where they call from.
My name na Tiwa. They call from Ikorodu.
All right. Welcome, Ikorodu, to Lagos.
I greet all of you for studio.
We greet you now.
Citizen Jos. See, this thing you are discussing, this thing has eaten very deep into us. This issue of tribalism. We are the one that have not realized it before. But it has been that election is the one that is bringing it out of us. See, I am from Isoko.
Wait, now election caused the killings in Plateau State.
no, he's talking tribalism.
Wait. Make I talk with you at the talk first. Wait. I am from Isoko.
not us.
Ever.
Now,
There's a bonus.
we have
Ever.
now we have two local Mariam. You dey laugh.
Go ahead.
They tell you say you have a bonus, you say na friend.
For Isoko, you know something, you just a man. Now we have two local meeting that it helps us. Isoko North and Isoko South. Me, my mother is from Isoko North, Owodogun side. My father is from Isoko North, Ulumoro. And I wanted to listen. I grew up with my mother. Very well. That was where I grew up with my mother. I went to Owodogun primary and
Take
secondary.
us home in time, I beg.
Yeah, so I want to take you home time. So when he got to his stage, I wanted to do something in my mother's place. That was where I grew up. You know what happened? They called me in the town, say, guy, like this place, now your mama's side and now your papa's side, now you go. How you want to explain that thing? So this matter of whether somebody is from Akwa Ibom, is from Lagos, is from this thing has been part and parcel of us. And I don't know how we are going to do about it. What we are going to do about it, I don't know. We are a set of people that are tribalistic. When it comes to the nitty-gritty, when it don't reach the time, when people want to do something beneficial to the community or something, that is when you will begin to know the history of who you are. They will tell you your
like Jones.
You know?
Yes.
All right then.
They will dig everything about you. So for me, I think the constitution has not done well concerning how they are going to coexist, how we are going to live together. It has not done well at all. And we need to go back to that book and do something about that book. This issue of
all right.
The issue about our colonial history that we must accentuate.
Hold on, except that let me tackle one particular thing he floated now. Our problem is not constitutional, if you ask me, because after 10 constitutional conferences and 10 conferences reports, we have done nothing. Then Nambi say no be constitution.
Okay, let me now add that. You see, these are issues. We cannot talk about it without accentuating the colonial history of Nigeria. What the British did was, if what was done in southern part of Africa is what we did here, I think would have been a little bit better. Nigeria is not supposed to be one country in the first place. It's supposed to be 3 countries.
Which?
Or 4. Because if you look at the Yoruba man, he's remarkably different from the Igbo man. They have nothing in common.
Not even, you said like 3 or 4 countries. Please, I want to know.
I'm going to colonial history. Hold on.
So the Beron man is different from the Fulani man.
I want to know.
The
Isoko North man, Isoko South person.
The Dutch man that colonized the southern part of Africa, okay, did not merge Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa, and the rest of them into one country. I'm giving you history. See, this is my forte. If we had done that, if the Frederick Lord Lugard had followed that pattern, we would have had like 3 or 4 countries in this space.
So we were not.
The Beron man wouldn't have been fighting.
Hold on, in your estimation, we were not properly colonized. Is that what you are saying?
No, we're properly. Colonialism. There's nothing proper about colonialism. It's infiltration. They went to Berlin Conference in 1804, and then
they just divided Africa.
The
partitioning.
The reason they did that was because the Portuguese and the Britons and the other ones were fighting. The French were fighting over who should have here, where, and there. Then they signed that treaty in Berlin, balkanized it, infiltrate Africa, and then did all they did and all that. But what I'm saying is that if you look at it proper, the man from Abia, Imo, Anambra have things in common.
They don't.
Hold on. Predominantly, they speak the same language in a manner of speaking.
Evans.
They have the same culture in a manner of speaking.
Isoko man just told you now that his father is from Evrogbo, his mother is from Olomoro. And that they are telling him.
I want to even hear the 3 or 4 countries.
Hold on.
We're supposed to get 22 countries.
Hold on. You see, the merger that we have is a merger of persons that are of remarkable difference, nothing in common. You see, Swahili is spoken in this belt, the Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa, and all that. If you look at the eastern part of the country, they have a central language. They all speak the same language. Their culture may not be the same.
Of the continent.
Yes, their culture may not be the same, but when Lord Lugard went there and saw that they have an Asafelo system, that they have this Igbo as a kind of republicanism, he could have cut that place out as a different part.
Yes,
and then come to the north, look at the fact that these people have a unitary function. They have already, there's an Islamic revivalist movement that are taking place already before the colonialism came, and they have a structure already. So they just changed structure, Akali court and the tax system. Then when you go to the Yoruba land was highly democratic. They have, even the Oba was not even as powerful as you be. The Oyomesi decides. If the Oba misbehaves, they give him a calabash to go and commit suicide. That was democracy, full democracy. It's like impeachment. Okay? So why not carve? Why
So
not make them
when you
one-
move away from the Yoruba side,
Hold on.
I'm interested in that. Please take us further.
If we do what?
You have gone to the east, you have gone to the north, you have gone to the Yoruba side. Beyond that, when you move away,
Beyond where now? The South.
The South.
The South predominantly have similar culture now. If you look at Port Harcourt, Bayelsa, even Delta. Yes, we have similar. We don't have the same language.
They have the same language.
We don't have the same language.
We may not have the same language per se, but we are
We
closer in our.
we don't have
the
cultures.
I'm saying. See, we are talking solution. No. It's not
It's
solution.
What's the unifying factor?
Well, hold on. The Akwa Ibom man is most likely to align with the Delta man in many situations than the Hausa man.
Yes.
The Hausa man aligning with the Igbo man.
Yes.
I'm just telling you.
The Igbo man and the Hausa man.
See, the amalgamation.
Yeah.
The amalgamation was for administrative convenience.
Let me tell you, it is not
The amalgamation. If you read the 1914 council, if you read the 1914 council, you will discover that there were no Nigerians even in the board.
Evans, you are talking about your forte. Citizen Jones, Citizen Jones, please, Endele, Sir Endele, he attended Government College Calabar.
Yeah.
And he was premier of where again?
No. He was the head of, he was at the House of Reps in
Yeah,
the First
okay.
Republic.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Remember that Western Cameroon used to be an integral part of Nigeria.
I'm not going to. I have a reason.
Endele, you know.
Before
Sir Dennis.
Endele would also bring into focus Mr. Mukete.
Victor Mukete.
The first information minister in Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria was a very big entity up till Victoria in Cameroon.
In Cameroon.
Yes.
What do you call it? Osadebe, the first premier of Midwestern region. Dennis Osadebe. That today they call it Osadebe House, the government house in Benin. It's from Delta State, from the Delta part of Bende State. Demos Akbore, who became deputy governor under Professor Ambrose Folorunsho Ali, is from Orogu. Not even the core Orobo is Orogu. If it were today, that man, there's no way he will be deputy governor.
Never. He will not.
So it's not about Lord Lugard not partitioning.
Exactly.
That's where I'm going to because as at that time,
if it were to be 3 countries,
as at that time, my uncle.
In those 3 countries, where would you put
my uncle, who was a dispenser,
you didn't answer.
my uncle,
A fourth country. And they are not speaking the same language. And the then tell me that.
My uncle was a dispenser in Sokoto.
I will be the 5th country.
What's all this now? We have a listener here.
What's the same thing?
Please.
I'd like let the listener say something. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, your name, where you calling from?
Yes, I'm Austin again from Ojo. I just have a solution. I mean, a kind of a quick solution to the Kaduna. The just massacre. Yes. I just believe that since when the incident began in 2002 to 2013 date, why it has extended till now, till 2020. This present period is that you see, basically the major issue here is the religious leaders, the community leaders, and the government also. The political leaders. These are the 3 major people that can be able to settle this. You see, different ideology has been passed, even in our religious leaders among them. You see, whereby if they began to teach every of their follower religious tolerance, that this person that you are seeing is your brother. There is no need of shedding of blood. If the community leaders do the same thing, began to share the same idea.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes to the political leaders as well. Not minding the party, the part. If the same idea goes to it, I think the people in the same community will be able to live.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, we got you. Thank you.
Wait, let me say this.
Hello. Just a minute. I have another caller here.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
I meet all of you in the studio.
Your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, I've been listening. My name is Chinedu from Badagry.
All right, Chinedu.
Yes. So I've been listening to what you people have been saying there. You see, the problem of Nigeria is not tribalism. Let us come out and burst the bubble. Until we burst the bubble, we don't know where we are going. The problem of Nigeria today is religion. Yes, the bubble, burst the bubble. Let us put it clear. Let everybody come to know it.
I agree with you.
Understand Nigeria that
I agree with you.
Religion is something personal. It's not something. Hello? Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Religion is personal. It should be carried to the center. The moment you call it to carry it to the center, like one body made it known to everybody. No, not even tribalism.
Don't say anything like that on my show. Don't mention. It is not Buhari that brought religion. Please. Okay.
Wait. Okay.
Please,
but
don't say any sort thing.
The problem is that the moment you continue.
How did Buhari bring this?
Buhari was not there.
No, let him finish now. Let him finish.
He's not.
Let him finish.
He has retracted it.
In 2004,
Why don't you let him finish?
The difference is there.
Go ahead.
Okay,
What I mean that the more let us come to understand ourselves. I'm not done yet.
Yeah, but
Hello?
you can't use the whole evening now.
But you are cutting me off now. Just
Go ahead.
want to let's come clearly about this
30
something.
seconds.
I know
30
how to
seconds
settle
from
this
now.
matter.
Come home. That's what
Okay, thank you very much. Please let us come out and come to understand ourselves as human beings. We are together. Let us come together and know ourselves and live happily. Outside that, we are not pursuing this matter the way it should. We're going to beat about the bush, and this is going to cause problem in our life. Thank you very much.
All right. So he's done.
In 2004, why was that Joshua Darie suspended by Obasanjo? He had intel as when we're going to say politicians, he had intel as to what Darie was doing to stroke the fire, and that was why when he went to Jos to have a community dialogue with them, he called the CAN chairman, "Scan my foot." I mean, we should all remember that incident.
Yes.
Because he has first class intel as to what originated the crisis. That's why I said just crisis it has been like cat and mouse, but got worse by the politicians.
In 2004.
Yes,
that was 2004.
Yes, but that is why when Obasanjo got intel of what Joshua Darie, then governor, was doing,
it was inflaming
the fire. Yeah. In the going with CAN, the Christian Church of Nigeria, just chapter, and massively supported. That's why I said the Southern Christians is giving the Northern Christians poor orientation and poor directive as to how to manage their crisis. Because yes, they're already in a crisis period. But when they are saying, okay, there's a small boy now, you're a big man behind. You say, go, don't worry. Just like what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. Go, don't worry. We're supporting you. Go, don't worry. Meanwhile, they are not supporting you in terms of putting their foot on the ground. They're supporting you by giving you moral support, ammunition, mouth support, and then you keep challenging the octopus or the giant, and they're getting beaten all the time, and then they keep using that. So that was what necessitated that Darie Dabako. That the person has to, the of emergency and brought in somebody. So people must understand the aftermath of the crisis. He even abused the CAN chairman when the man came to start talking. He abused him because he has intel as to what was going on and the cause of the crisis.
All right, Murphy, it be like say we go begin to wind up. So how do you want to close? Beginning from the top, if possible?
Yeah, I
Don't forget, we started with Okorocha getting free from the court and the EFCC.
As for Okorocha and the EFCC, I think the case of EFCC is like the case of the bird that has learned to fly
without perching.
While the hunter has not learned to shoot without missing. That is the case of EFCC. They really need to do something very differently.
Yeah.
It's just that we are just where we are. If not, an agency of government that has a budget, the government is pumping money into, and it's not yielding results, it's actually called for a serious concern. And I think it should be rigid. EFCC should look seriously into their legal team.
And then Plateau.
The Plateau issue, it all boils down whether it's happening in Plateau, whether in the east or south
or wherever.
The point is, beyond the constitution, beyond even the religious thing, we need to just understand that we are all human beings and we need to show love to one another. We need to accept that you cannot exist in isolation. Once that is clearly understood, you don't really have to bother about religion. All of us cannot believe in one religion. And all of us naturally, by virtue of nature, cannot come from one particular tribe too. So we need to understand that we need to coexist.
All right.
Have you come?
No, don't come in public.
Please don't say we are on radio. Please, we are on radio. Watch your language, please. Ogo, how do you?
I don't know what you understood by that comment.
Let Ogo come now. Let's do this thing.
Let Jones come. And, okay, let Ogo come. Come fast.
Okay.
Ziggy, how do you close?
No, let her.
Ziggy, how do you close?
Well, EFCC should stop. It's okay. EFCC should stop this social frenzy about who they want to prosecute. I don't think it's important. Most problems we have in the country is this judgment before the person even starts being prosecuted and is affecting them. Then in the Plateau issue, the insecurity we're having now is not only in Plateau, it's almost everywhere. My southeast boys every day.
No, people are sitting at home.
And tomorrow now,
you're sitting at home.
Tomorrow now, nobody goes anywhere. And the governors are fighting it tooth and nail to make sure that is abated. I hope all this work out because we are tired of. We are tired of.
No, we're not tired though.
Oh, we are tired. We are tired. In fact, if the people were left to do it on their own, they are not ready to obey these guys. But the fear has been instilled into them, and they will not. They are not ready to come out. It's not definitely that they need it. They are not happy doing it, but because for the fear of the unknown, they wouldn't come out.
Ziggy,
and that's what the governor is fighting for.
Ogo, you want to close now?
Yes, please. So on the issue of EFCC, I would say that EFCC should actually discontinue their system of prosecution. If they want to actually get this done, they know what to do. Also, I think they should know what to do. I mean, that's why they are there in the first place. And then on the issue of the just crisis, someone said, love your neighbor. No, you see, the law does not really require you to love your neighbor, but the law requires you not to injure your neighbor. That is the law of thoughts. So don't love your neighbor, but don't injure your neighbor. So if we actually have, like Liberos rightly pointed out, the Professor Priest who said that Nigerians don't have a common purpose. If we actually find a common purpose, just has viable land for agriculture. These people can farm. They have the energy, the capacity to cultivate the lands. We have the lands. What is the common purpose? We want to produce crops from here. We want to rear animals. Okay, you come, farm on the land, you give them the land. Find a meeting point. And then you will see that some of the squabbles will not even arise in the first place. But because we don't really have that common purpose, when somebody will come and tell you, oh, they want to Islamize you, They will go to the other party and tell them, oh, they want to steal your land. Would you really let that happen? You see that parties begin to fight.
Wilcox, you.
Yes. Let me adopt August's position and to say that EFCC has one of the best trained investigators. If you see some of the leadership credentials in terms of the kind of trainings government has expended money on. Yeah. Remember, EFCC came as a result of worldwide acclamation for fighting of terrorism and money laundering. So it's a worldwide, movement and business. And so the World Bank, the United Nations, and every other multinational agencies invest heavily in training, equipment, capacity development, and equipment of EFCC. But in Nigeria, how come, apart from Nuru Ribadu, all other heads of EFCC has been fingered in one corruption allegation or the other? How come? Because they see themselves as that typical Nigerian man that will always come to a place and say, what is in need for me? So that is where the problem is. Not because we are jinxed. We are not jinxed. At least people like Professor Oloyede, people like the last chairman of the last director of custom. Okay.
Ahmed Ali.
Marwa of
NDLA have shown that there are some Nigerians too that
can
show themselves
voice of the people
above the board.
Of the High of Lagos State.
Lester is the one speaking.
Yes,
please.
let me come. So what I'm saying is that there are Nigerians that can also handle these agencies and make. So we are not
Plateau,
we are not. So as for Plateau case is that let me beg certain Christians, please leave the northern Christians with false indoctrination. Let them look at their peculiarity of their environment and live with their neighbors in the light of the peculiarity of their state. Nobody stopped from pressing their religion. Nobody is Islamizing anybody. Nobody is. I've never seen anywhere where anybody is willing to say they want to Islamize. If not Islamize, they should have Islamized Lagos. My landlord is a Muslim. My best friends are Muslim. Those who have done things for me are Muslim. And nobody has Islamized me. So certain Christians, please leave northern Christians to handle their peculiarities in a better way so that they live peaceably with their neighbors. Right. That will stop us.
I love the way you finger your conclusion when you were coming. And for me, quickly, briefly, the EFCC, I think it's high time. I'm in perfect simulacrum with Ogo on this. The EFCC, we should find a way to unbundle prosecution, investigation, asset management, and assets, for future. Once we do that, the agencies, you have different independent body reporting differently. Everybody will do their job, and do it well. You minimize the corruption. And then on JOS, we need to begin to find a common purpose. We need to, we are where we are, forget all this, yes, we should have 5 countries. We need to unbundle government to the local level so that, like Alesta has said, the people at the local will find that common purpose and begin to live according to their peculiarity. And then politicians should try, please, to leave out all of this using people to fight your common cause, because politicians also have a hand in this. When the people have a common purpose, it becomes very difficult for the politicians to use them as pawns in the scheme of things. And all of this will have robust government, and then people will benefit more from this. And all of this fight will just fizzle out, and there'll be no more sit at home. And that's my comment.
Okay, for EFCC, I would say that we must kill the mosquito that bites the slave, because we have no guarantee that if it sees the bottom of the king, it will not do the same. EFCC is preoccupied with too many activities at the same time. There is a need for them to go back to the drawing board, look at their cases proper, the ones they have won, the ones they have lost, why did they lose, why did they win, and have a record so that they will not be prosecuting the same case twice and be losing taxpayers' money to this thing. So for JOS, the Bible says there is therefore now no condemnation to them that are in Christ Jesus.
And you know they go church.
Okay, so I did pastoral theology. I'm just telling you, you are not aware.
I didn't ask you what you did. I say you know they go church.
So now, the truth is that the Christians and Jews can actually live peacefully with the Muslims. Okay, they've done that for a long time, up until 1999, 2000. Okay, so the things they did wrongly that instigated this crisis, they have to go back to that and resolve the issue. I believe that the politicians, the traditional rulers, the larger community, the religious leaders can all come together and have proper terms of settlement on their issues and project from there. So Nigeria can be great. We have a Nigerian dream in our national pledge. And in section 23.2 of the Nigerian Constitution, we have what we call the national ethics. Maybe these virtues should be taught in schools and they should be accentuated on radio and in the media so that the average Nigerian will know what the Nigerian.
And we have good Nigerians like Liberos, Citizen Jones.
All right. In closing, I'm saying at 63, Nigeria, I look at Nigeria as a 63-year-old man who has gotten to the crossroads. The Yorubas say, it's a common saying in Nigeria, if a small child trips and falls, he or she looks ahead. But if an elderly fellow trips and falls, he or she looks backward. And reorder the steps before lunging forward. It's possible at 63 to recreate tomorrow. We can, because we are human beings.
True.
Thank you, Murphy. Thank you, Alesta. Thank you, Ogo. Ziggy, many thanks. Liberos, many thanks. And of course, Barrister Ofeli.
And thank you for being able to thank us.
Next Sunday, we are here. Bye-bye now.